What's up guys, Spencer from Fit Films here. Welcome to our first solo review. Today I will be reviewing the 1975 Milos Forman, I hope I'm saying that name right, directed masterpiece One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Funny side note before we get started, I actually just watched this movie for the first time in my U.S. Film Studies class. So for all of our viewers who go to Jefferson, which I'm sure is like 90% of our viewers at the moment, take that class and shout out to Miss Goodwin. Also, just a heads up, this is a spoiler-free review. So the story centers around Randall McMurphy, played by Jack Nicholson,
Gnawing, eating fucking rat,
who fakes mental illness to avoid a prison sentence and gets sent to a mental hospital instead. McMurphy has made many past mistakes and is far from a saint, but at heart he seems to be a good person.
It says here that you went
Ain't
around.
up to me, you know.
Let me just take a look at
Ain't
it.
up to me, though.
1, 2, 3, 4. You've got at least 5 arrests for assault.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that?
5 fights, huh? Rocky Marciano's got 40 and he's a millionaire.
That's true.
That is true.
Of course, it's true that you went in for statutory rape. That's true, is it not?
He's also incredibly rebellious, nonconformist, and unapologetic. So upon arriving, McMurphy stirs life into his fellow patients, the notables of which include, and I'm sorry to write this down, it's just kind of a long list, Billy, Chief, Harding, Cheswick, Tabor, and Martini. Unfortunately, Nurse Ratched, the head nurse of the facility, sees this as a serious threat to her authority and does not like what's going on, to say the least. So that's just about all I can say about the story without getting into spoilers, but just know that it's very balanced, well-paced, and incredibly riveting. Alright, so as you might expect, Jack Nicholson is just fantastic in this movie. I believe this won him his second consecutive Best Actor Oscar. I could be wrong about that, but I think that that's right. He has to convey an incredibly wide range of emotions, and he just nails all of them perfectly. He also does a tremendous job of conveying those emotions through like body language and facial expressions.
Murphy.
One of the most amazing things about this movie is just how well the side characters are handled. Each is given just enough attention and screen time and dialogue to be very likable and memorable and fleshed out, but not too much as to take away from Randall McMurphy, who of course is the main character. The movie also very wisely chooses to focus heavily on only 2 of the patients as opposed to the entire group. Those 2 are Billy and Chief. Finally, the moment I've been waiting for. Nurse Ratched is one of the best movie villains I've ever seen. The performance by Louise Fletcher, I think her name is just unbelievably good. She's kind of got that whole like Batman and Joker duality thing going on, where her and McMurphy are just polar opposites. So seeing them clash is one of the reasons why this movie is just so enthralling. Another thing that's great about this character is the fact that her evilness, I don't think that's a word, but we're going to go with it anyway. Her evilness is something that you don't immediately pick up on. It's something that you kind of learn about more and more throughout the course of the movie. This is because the whole performance is actually pretty subtle. She doesn't really say anything, at least in my recollection, that's outright horrible or terrible or anything like that. But everything is conveyed through her mannerisms, her facial expressions, and her tone of voice, which remains very cold and calm and chilling throughout the whole movie, no matter what the situation is.
Asshole
Makes you feel peculiar.
Been talking about your wife ever since I can remember. You know, she's on your mind and blah, 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 and on and on and on.
Talking about my wife. When are you going to get that through your
Fucking head. What are you going to rise up and turn it loose?
I don't want to hear it. Please. No, just peculiar.
I'm tired.
I don't want to hear it.
Tired and
it's a lot of baloney. It's a lot of baloney, and I'm tired.
All right, Mancini, you'll be better in the morning. We know you're tired. We're all tired.
I'm tired, and it's a lot of baloney. You're not tired, Mancini.
Moving on to cinematography, the shots do an excellent job of conveying the very dreary, lifeless, and claustrophobic feel of the mental hospital that all the characters are, of course, stuck in. In the movie, there's also this theme of nature versus civilization, which can be seen in the character of Chief, the contrast of the scenes that are outside versus inside the mental hospital, and especially in the opening and closing shots of the movie. The writing in this movie is fantastic. The story is very well paced, no information is ever spoon-fed to you, and the dialogue, as you would expect, is great, particularly between the patients in the group therapy scenes. In addition, this movie has a great message of the necessity of nonconformity, rebellion, and individuality, despite the cost it may come at sometimes, but luckily it never comes across as preachy in the movie, ever. Overall, this movie is considered a masterpiece for a very good reason, and my final grade for it is...
Give it to me. Give it to me.
You all right?
Ow!
We're going.
Chief!
Ethan!
Hey, baby, put it in!
Thanks for watching, guys. As was stated in the Revenge of the Sith video, we're very sorry for the long hiatus, but we should be getting back to making videos on a more consistent basis now, and be sure to tune in for the next one.